You know who it is. Cinnamon rolls. But this time, I googled 4 recipes, built a spreadsheet, and created a perfectly average recipe for the perfectly average cinnamon roll. To make these, you're going to need whole milk, instant yeast, granulated sugar, 1 egg, unsalted butter, bread flour, salt, dark brown sugar, ground cinnamon, powdered sugar, cream cheese, and vanilla extract. Step 1 is to add 3/4 of a cup of whole milk into a microwave-safe bowl and get it reasonably warm, somewhere around 100 degrees Fahrenheit or just 30 seconds in the microwave. Then add 10 grams of your white sugar, 7 grams of instant yeast, stir it all up, and set it aside to do its thing. While that happens, sift 375 grams of bread flour, 50 grams of white sugar, and 5 grams of salt into a medium bowl, then whisk it a bit until it's thoroughly combined. Check this yeast out. It's only been a few minutes and it's getting all kinds of bubbly. Okay, let that keep happening. Meanwhile, melt 55 grams of butter in a microwave-safe dish and beat 1 large egg. Then add the butter, the egg you beat up, and all that bubbly milk into your mixing bowl with your dry ingredients. All of this is going to get mixed in with a fork until there is a semi-cohesive, shaggy ball of dough. Once you reach this step, flip the dough onto a work surface and knead until you get a smooth and no longer sticky dough. You will probably have to add a bit of flour here and there to keep things moving along, but eventually you will have a ball of dough that looks like this. If you can poke the ball with a clean finger and have it spring back a little, you did it. Now take that ball, stick it into a lightly greased bowl, cover it with something, and set it aside for 30 to 45 minutes or until it has doubled in size. That should be just enough time to knock out the other 2 pieces of this swirly baked puzzle. Rinse out your mixing bowl and then add to it 100 grams of dark brown sugar, 10 grams of ground cinnamon, and 55 grams of softened butter. Mash this stuff up until it has completely combined and you have a thick but spreadable paste, and set it aside for later. Rinse your bowl out again and then add to it 110 grams of cream cheese, 40 grams of room temperature butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Get your electric mixer out to bring those together and make a huge mess before dumping 110 grams of powdered sugar and making it a dusty mess. Once you have frosting, move it into a container, taste test it, and set it in the fridge to get to know itself. By now, your dough should be approaching its ready state and can be flipped onto a clean work surface to roll into a rectangle that is roughly 9 inches by 13 inches. Once your dough is sort of rectangular, spread that brown sugar cinnamon paste from edge to edge, leaving about ½ an inch of a short edge bare. Take your time with this and get everything as evenly spread as possible. Pro tip, start with little dollops already spread out and not just one giant blob. Once you're feeling confident, start rolling as tightly as you can from the edge opposite of your bare edge and make yourself a little cinnamon roll log. In an 8x8 or 9x9 baking pan, shoot for 9 evenly cut rolls. You can see here where I didn't measure and got 12 unevenly cut rolls. Try to do better than this, or if you have a 9x13 tray, do it just like this. It really doesn't matter, but I don't have a bigger baking dish, so mine are going to be squished ovals, not as pretty, but still delicious. Once you get them in the pan, cover them up and let them rise a second time. This one needs to be 60 to 90 minutes. You can also stick them in the fridge and let them rise overnight for early morning baking. Just take them out ½ an hour or so before so they come to room temperature first. An hour or so later, take those puffy little swirls and stick them into an oven you've preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes. At this moment, get your frosting from the fridge and set it on the counter. Once the timer beeps, you can pop them out and let them rest for 10 minutes. You can see mine have some little escaped middles, but I think that's from the little ovals deal. They will still be delicious, and that really is all that matters. After a little cooling, you can apply your frosting. It will feel like too much, but there is no world where cinnamon rolls are too frosted. So pile it on and spread it out. Then grab yourself a plate, tap your tongs a couple of times, and dig yourself out a hard-earned treat we somehow consider breakfast. Recipe in the description below. Go make these for someone. They rule, even if that someone is yourself.